Series where we're exploring the world at the moment, different countries across the world. We are going to speak about tonight about Bahrain, the Jewish community over there. What was it like over there? And we've spoken about other countries like Bangladesh, we spoke about Sudan, we've spoken about Pakistan, we've spoken about Afghanistan, all various different countries. So tonight is Bahrain, and we must say at the here on the onset that Bahrain did join the Abraham Accords. So this was a welcomed, let's just say, step over the last few years. But in of itself, let's explore some of the highlights within regards to this specific country, the Jewish history, because it's I think it's important we get in a concrete background of all these different various countries that we've spoken about here since the onset, and just see what actually took place over all those specific years inside that place. Now, anyone, you're new to the channel, welcome. First of all, I'd like to wish you all a great greeting, a welcome greeting, and we've got fantastic content over here on this channel where we're like trying to be like an online encyclopedia resource of various different countries of yesteryear over here. So if you're new here, welcome, and in for a lot of treats within regards to loads of different great content in itself. So the Jewish community of Bahrain, let's start speaking about that today. And if you have heard of, first of all, if any of you know of people from Bahrain, or you happen to have been yourselves, you happen to be from Bahrain, it would be interesting to hear if you write a comment of some background within regards to that. I'd really, really appreciate friends over here as we try and explore all the various different sights and sounds of the various different places in of itself. So, okay, so the history of the Jews of Bahrain, I think, goes back to ancient times. Bahraini Jews, I think, constitute one of the world's smallest Jewish communities, and I think we go back to late antiquity in of itself, where it came. I think there's various different Gemara sources refers to ports and islands on the Persian Gulf, indicating that Jewish people may have really settled in this region. Various Arabic, let's say, sources record Jews in the old capital of Bahrain, some of a place called Hajjar. At the time of Islamist conquest in the year 630 Common Era. Come on, the 12th century, there was a famous Jewish traveller who was mentioned about on various occasions for Benjamin of Tudela. He would mention 500 Jewish people living in the caves, and 5,000 al-Katif. I think they were involved in pearl fishery. Come up the 19th century, there were Jewish merchants from Iraq, Persia, and India in Bahrain. The Jewish community would decline during the 20th century. I think come up 1968, only 100 Jewish people remained in the capital city of Manama. And at the beginning of the 21st century, there was about 30 Jewish people remaining in Bahrain. The community will maintain ownership of the synagogue, which we can try and speak a bit about. And I don't think it was not in use, and services were held, I believe, in various different houses, especially on holidays. The Jewish community reported over also had a cemetery. That's something to point out over here. So that's, I think, from its independence in the year 1971, Bahrain didn't have any official relations with Israel really until the Oslo Accords, Oslo Agreements, which were signed between Israel and the Palestinians. Come what year, I believe it was 1993, if I'm not mistaken. So that's very, very interesting. Okay, so that was 19, and subsequently, I think there'll be semi-official relations which were, let's just say, commercial, were established. Bahraini Jews were not allowed to visit Israel, although officially Bahrain agreed to cease adherence to economic boycott of Israel in exchange for a free trade agreement with the United States. This was about 21 years ago, in 2004. Obviously, we know, very widely documented, in September 2020, Bahrain and Israel agreed to establish diplomatic relations. Travel links between the two countries were also established, and as of 2022, the majority of Jews in the area of al-Hassam in Manama, I think the majority of Jews live over there in that specific locale, if everything is good. So that's that's very, very interesting. So yeah, friends over here, welcome to our community. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel and enjoy the great content that we've got over here. We're exploring the country of Bahrain here in this special series. Very, very interesting. Really going on to the same, let's just see a theme where we've spoken already about countries like Sudan inside this series, which I recommend everyone to watch. Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, all these various countries. So very, very interesting. So hope you're going to enjoy the class today and get inspired also. So very, very interesting. If you're new here, please send us an email and welcome to our community at the moment, where we have lots of great content over here, let's just say. So I'm just researching something for half a second, something I wanted to say. And as we explore the country of Bahrain, friends. Okay, so friends, so the early history. So there are Talmudic references, I think, made of Jewish community dating back into more geographic areas of present-day Bahrain, as well as references, I think, in textual Arabic to a presence of the Jewish community in Hajar. I think this is the eastern coast of inland Arabia. I think this was during Muhammad's lifetime, reported that Jewish people are reported, let's just say, to have been living in what became the modern kingdom of Bahrain since the times of the Gemara, the Talmud. Various sources in Arabic state that Jews lived in Hajar, as mentioned before, that's the capital of Bahrain, and I think come on 630, Common Era, refused to convert to Islam, when most of the population of the island, I think, did at that stage in time. Let's talk about a bit more of the modern history. I haven't got that much information within regards to Bahrain, let's just say the previous community of itself. So that's very interesting, but especially during the Talmudic times. But we're going to try and explore, were there rabbis in Bahrain? That's one of the questions many people ask. What were the synagogues over there? Was there ever any rabbis over there? So that's these are all questions, let's just say, which are very, very important, and they're key figures we're going to see inside that specific locale itself. Okay, so let's explore them. So I think it was after, let's say modern Bahrain's Jewish community traces its origins to the migration of Iraqi traders from a anti-British sentiment would spread all over the Arab world, and this would lead to riots in Bahrain. These riots will focus on the Jewish community. Come on, 1948, the year of Israeli independence, there was 1,500 Jews living in Bahrain, which is quite a large sum of people. Some sources, I think, give the Jewish population maybe 600 in 1948. I think it was on December the 5th in 1947, the riots would break out against the Jewish community in Manama. In the wake of, obviously, the violence in Palestine, there was a mob that would loot Jewish homes and their shops. They would destroy the city's synagogue. They would assault other Jewish people. They murdered an elderly Jewish woman. Most members of Bahrain's Jewish community would abandon their properties and evacuated to Bombay in India. Later, eventually, many of them would settle in Israel. I think in the town of Pardes, Hana, Karakul, some people would go to United Kingdom also. And I think in 1950, there was only about 293 Jews inside the country. Now, Pardes, Hana, Kurka, I think it is a town in the Haifa district of Israel. And I think it's got a handsome population, about 46,000 people approximately, which very interesting. Now the key people is the Nunu family is a key family, let's just say, within regards to Bahrain. Actually, the Independent newspaper, I believe, a very popular British newspaper, or it's also an online newspaper, someone named Huda Nunu, or to give this full title, Huda Ezra Ibrahim Nunu, who was a Bahraini politician. He served in the Bahraini ambassador to the United States from 2008 to 2013. I think he was appointed by the Foreign Affairs Minister, someone named Khalid ibn Ahmed al-Khalifa. It was the first Jew and the third woman to be appointed an ambassador over there. She would tell the newspaper, I don't think it was Bahrainians who were responsible. It was people from abroad. Many Bahrainis looked after Jews in their houses, quoted over here. This view, I think, is supported by someone named Charles Belgrave, or Sir Charles Delir Mipel Belgrave, I think he was a chief administrator and advisor to, if I'm not mistaken, under Shaykh Hamad ibn Isa al-Khalifa, if I'm not mistaken, former political advisor to the government of Bahrain, which I think at the time was subject to treaty with relations with Britain. He recalled in a memoir, the leading Arabs were very shocked. Most of them, when possible, had given shelter and protection to the Jewish neighbors. The riots had one surprising effect. It put an end to any active aggression by the Bahrain Arabs against the Bahrain Jews. Following the riots, as well as the establishment of Israel and the 1948 Arab-Israel War, many Bahraini Jews emigrated to Israel, or the United States, or the United Kingdom. Some, he says over here, around approximately 500 to 600 would remain. But after the riots broke out in the aftermath of the Six-Day War in 1967, Bahraini Jewry really immigrated at that point in time on a huge amount. So that's very, very interesting. Let's go now towards a more 21st century. The Jewish people are one of several communities that form the core of liberal middle classes, and several are even active politicians. There's a Jewish businessman of name Ibrahim Dawood Nunu, who is a Bahraini businessman, a politician. He was a member of the appointed upper house of the Bahraini parliament's Shura Council, I think between 2001 to 2006. He was the first Jewish minister, if I'm not mistaken, Jewish member of the council, and the CEO of the Basma company, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a key figure, let's just say, itself. I think that the Nunu family itself, as a general, is from Basra in Iraq. They moved to Bahrain over a century ago, along with many hundreds of Jews from Iraq who sought, let's just say, various economic opportunities over there. And very, very interesting. He financed repairs reported over with regards to the country's only synagogue, which we'll hopefully speak about in the coming minutes. So so we were speaking about him. So he sat on the appointed upper house of the Bahraini's Parliament's Shura Council. I think in 2005, eventually he'd be replaced by his niece, Huda Ezra Nunu, who we just spoke about just beforehand, and very, very interesting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was actually born in the year she's born in the year 1964. I think the first Jewish and the third woman to be appointed ambassador of Bahrain, respectively. It's interesting. I think the grandfather, Ibrahim, left Baghdad. It was in the year 1888 to start the financial business in Bahrain. Interesting enough, I think Nunu would live for an extended period of time in the United Kingdom, attending Carmel College, obviously a Jewish boarding school, which we've spoken about before. She would meet someone named Salman Idafar, a British Jewish person, who I think she had two sons, Manasseh and Ezra, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very interesting enough. So she would be appointed, I think, on the 3rd of July 2008, ambassador of the Kingdom of Bahrain to the United States. A role also included responsibility of a Bahraini diplomatic representation to Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina, if I'm not mistaken. So that's very, very interesting over here. Yeah, so another key figure you can see. I think since 2004, Miss Nunu headed the Bahrain Human Rights Watch Society, which I think campaigned against the reintroduction of the death penalty inside this very, very small kingdom. Neither considered a controversial figure among Salafi politicians. I think as of 2007, there was only 36 Jewish people living in Bahrain. At that time, I think tolerance extended to the island's Jewish community is a result, let's say, of policy of, let's just say, of that point in time of the kingdom. Just hold on a minute, I'm just taking a short break. Hold on. Hello? Yeah? Okay, I'm gonna finish off in a couple of minutes and I'm coming up. Okay? Yeah, for sure. Goodbye. Yeah, sorry about the interruption over there. So 36 people will live there at that point in time. I think the tolerance extended to the island's Jewish community, I think, was a result, let's just say, of the policy of its leader, King Hamad ibn Isa al-Khala. At that point in time, the island's, if I'm not mistaken, boycott of Israeli products was in effect until 2005, when there was a free trade agreement in the United States that put an end to the official boycott. Very interesting. Friends, if anyone is tuning in live, please join the channel, our community over here, as we're exploring the history of the Bahraini Jewish community. I think a Jewish Bahraini author, someone named Nancy Kaduri, wrote from our beginning to present day about the Bahraini Jewish community. Bahraini Jews are well integrated into the life of the 700,000 person island kingdom, with Jewish government officials such as Shura Council member Abraham David Nunu, who we've mentioned about before, and the Kaduri's own family, Bahrain's leading importer of tablecloths and linens. Now, Kaduri will actually explain most of the Jewish men were traders, and the women worked as teachers, nurses, and from the very start developed strong bonds of friendship with local citizens. And she would quote various other things. I think it was in 2006. Yeah, very, very interesting. So in 2006, a US State Department reported that there have been no acts of physical violence or harassment of Jews or vandalism of the Jewish community institutions such as schools, cemeteries, or a synagogue, although the government has not enacted any laws protecting the rights of Jews to religious freedom. Jewish people practice their faith privately without governmental interference. Nevertheless, the government has made no specific effort to promote anti-bias and tolerant education. Some anti-Semitic political commentary and editorial cartoons, I think, unfortunately still appear, usually obviously linked to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I think come 2008, Bahrain's king-nominated Hudu Nunu, obviously the Jewish woman who served in the nation's 40-member upper house of parliament as its ambassador to the United States in November 2010, Bahraini Jewish author Nancy Kaduri was appointed to replace Nunu in the parliament, I believe, at that stage in time. Now, she is a businessman, a politician, and an author, member of the National Assembly of Bahrain since 2010. I think, come what 2015, King Al Khalifa officially marked the celebration of Hanukkah, with Jewish and Muslim Bahrain celebrating together. And I think, obviously, we're going to speak about the Abraham Accords in the coming minutes. As 11th of September 2020, Israel and Bahrain agreed, I believe, at that stage in time to normalize relations. Okay, now, friends, anyone tuning in live, welcome to our community. I'm going to take a short just break at the moment, and just going to get some more notes which I had wrote just from the other room at the moment for this presentation. So in the meantime, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be back in several minutes. Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes, and enjoy. We're just taking a short break. Yeah, thanks everyone for being patient at the moment. Sorry, there was just a break over here, and let's continue over here. The class we were speaking about the Jewish community of Bahrain, and very, very important to speak about it. It's not the first country we're speaking about here inside this series. We've spoken about Kuwait, we've spoken about Afghanistan, we've spoken about Pakistan already here inside the series, and various other countries over here. So we happen to be speaking about Bahrain here in today's special series. And we're going to talk a bit about the Abraham Accords over here for a minute. There was an agreement, I think, which was announced by Donald Trump. So just going towards it, in September the 11th, 2020, which followed a joint statement officially referred to as Abraham Accords. According to the United States and the UAE at that point in time, it was recognized on 15th of September 2020 in the White House in Washington, D.C., and made Bahrain the fourth Arab state at that point in time to recognize Israel, and the second within a month. Now, the agreements were named the Abraham Accords to highlight the common belief of Judaism and Islam in the Prophet Abraham, respectively. So let's speak a bit more within regards to the Bahraini synagogue. I think it's called the House of Ten Commandments, if I'm not mistaken, and it's in the commercial district of Manama in Bahrain. And the House of the Ten Commandments, I believe, is the oldest continuously operating synagogue in the Gulf Cooperation Council. It happens to actually be, which is very, very interesting reference over here. So let's speak about it. The synagogue was built in the 1930s by someone named Shimon Cohen, a Jewish merchant, Iranian one, and financed by an American Judah whose name is recorded only as Rosenthal, and who came to Bahrain to buy pearls, reported over. After the 1947 partition plan envisaged partitioning Palestine, the synagogue was ransacked by foreign workers who worked in Bahrain. There would be riots would cause, let's just say, many people, Bahraini Jews at that stage in time, to emigrate. The synagogue, with the Torah scroll, was returned in a damaged state at that stage in time, and a number of years later, I think it was only, the remaining Jewish community in Bahrain wanted to convert the building for another use or give it to charity, but the government of Bahrain insisted it remains as a synagogue over there. The government had also offered the Jewish community a piece of land to rebuild the synagogue. Abraham Dawood Nunu, who we mentioned about before, the Jewish community's unofficial leader and a member of Bahrain's National Assembly, would undertake to renovate the synagogue. It was renovated in 1997, 2006, also recently in 2021, at the cost, I believe, more recently of 60,000 Bahraini dinars. It was open to the public for the first time in 74 years since 1947, which is very, very interesting. And anyone tuning in live, welcome to our community. We are doing a special edition over here where we're exploring the Jewish community, Bahrain, over here in this special edition. So anyone that you're tuning in live, welcome to our channel over here, and please don't forget to subscribe also. Now, the synagogue, the sign outside the synagogue building reads Bahrain Synagogue in English and House of Ten Commandments in Arabic and Hebrew. The synagogue has a wooden door and an arch-shaped wooden windows approximating the synagogue's design when it was built, I think, in the 1930s. The art cover, I think, is blue velvet and dedicated in Hebrew to the community's late Rabbi Shimon Cohen. So we know that someone named Rabbi Shimon Cohen was a rabbi there. The bima has a velvet covered dedicated in Hebrew and to the normalization agreement between Bahrain and Israel. The ark holds an Ashkenazi Torah given to the King Hamad bin Isa al-Khalifa by Jared Kushner, has says in the description, in honor of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa al-Khalifa for his vision, courage and leadership in bringing peace, respect and religious tolerance to the Middle East. I think this was given on June the 25th in 2019 by Jared Kushner. There are services in the synagogue every Shabbat morning, but I don't think there's always a minyan. It depends on who's visiting and who are the tourists over there. So that's very, very interesting over here, just as another point of view. So you can see the Jewish community, it's actually connected to the World Jewish Congress. That's something else we've got to point out, and a lot has been documented in the news. within regards to it. I think there was only according to the WJC website, there was only about 37 Jews in 2011. Obviously, the most notable ones, if Ibrahim David Nunu, Huda Ezra Ibrahim Nunu, also respectively, and Nancy Hidori, really, let's just say. So it's a very, very small Jewish community over there. There's no rabbi at the moment in Bahrain. So many Jewish rituals will be conducted overseas, and obviously no kosher food, Jewish education, all those things. But we've spoken about the relationship there was with Israel in previous time periods, which is also very, very interesting. And friends, everyone, welcome. We are a community over here. We're exploring the Jewish history over here. We happen to be speaking about Bahrain today. If you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, please subscribe now. We are nearing 8,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. If you know of anyone or you've been to Bahrain yourselves, please let me know. I'll be interested to hear more information about it. And with community here. Now, it's not just we record videos here on this channel of, let's just say, great countries of yesteryear, the famous countries that might have been yesteryear. We are also exploring here at the moment rabbinic videos of great rabbis of yesteryear we speak about. We happen to have spoken about close to 1,400 rabbis already here inside this series, which is a very huge amount of people. We try and record the videos usually at the time period of the Hilula of the great rabbi. That's something I would definitely point out over here. So thank God we've been able to cover a lot of material over here within regards to that. I think we haven't spoken obviously about any rabbis from Bahrain. That's something, if anyone knows, was there a rabbi in Bahrain over here? Seemingly that was this Rabbi Cohen, I think, but I haven't got that much information within regards to him. It would be good to know more within regards to him, and well, that's definitely something that we'll try to research. Also, we spoke about Sudan, we spoke about Pakistan, we spoke about Bangladesh a few days ago, if you recollect. We even recorded a video about the Jewish community of Kuwait, only I think it was 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was even yesterday. So really trying to get a breadth of all the different countries out there and all the different Jewish communities. I just feel it's very, very important that we do it, and so on and so forth. So we also on this channel we explore various different sites all over Israel. That's another big major project that we are doing on at the moment, and yeah, that's something that's very, very proud about, let's just say, itself. So yeah, so that's interesting. If anyone knows any more information on Shimon Cohen, I'll be really appreciated. He happens to be a key figure in the Bahrain in the earlier time periods. We're talking about in the 1930s. So he was a key, let's just say, a key figure. He financed it, and I believe at that point in time, and there are much more can be related within regards to that. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we're going to leave it over here and appreciate. Yeah, I think he was Rabbi Shimon Cohen, who I think would establish, I think, a synagogue in 1935, if I'm not mistaken. But this is according to the World Jewish Congress website also, and various other places mentioned that also. So wishing you a great night. Please subscribe and have a great day. Thank you for watching.